Welcome to the Precision Performance Training Podcast. I'm your host, Chris Hansen. In this episode, it is my introduction to the Precision Performance Training Podcast, and we talk about what evidence-based medicine is and how it might actually apply to the information that we're going to share. Welcome to the Precision Performance Training Podcast. I'm your host, Chris Hansen. So for me, I'm kind of a nerd. I like to learn. I like to learn about a whole bunch of different things. The more things I can learn about, the better. Heck, if I could have been a lifetime student and it didn't cost me money to go to school, I probably would have done that to some degree for my lifetime. But I like to learn, especially when it comes to stuff that I do for a job, which is physical therapy and sports performance training or strength conditioning, because that makes me the best at or better at what I do, and the goal of trying to be the best at what I do. So I love learning, and it's something that I continue to do and will continue to do for forever. But I like to also share a lot of the information. So one of my favorite things that I like to do in the clinic when people come to see me is to be able to help share and educate them on what it is that we're doing, why we're doing things, so that they can not only understand what we're doing, but also when they get done seeing me in whatever capacity they are, they can go off and continue to do those things for themselves. So the goal of the Precision Performance Training Podcast is to be able to help take the information that's out there and put it in a digestible format for people to be able to use so they can help improve their exercise programs or training programs and help themselves on their journey of trying to achieve the goals that they're trying to achieve. And the goal of the Precision Performance Training Podcast is also to take that information and put it into small, really easily to consume amounts. So I would like to, or my goal is to be able to get each topic that I talk about in an episode done in 5 minutes or less. That way you can take a little bit of information and then go and apply it and then be able to try to help make your programs or whatever you do better. So with that being said, here is the first episode of the Precision Performance Training Podcast. And today we're going to talk about evidence-based medicine. So evidence-based medicine is a term used in the medical world that discusses the best information out there that is combined with the clinical experience of a professional and used to be able to make clinical decisions. So when talking about evidence-based medicine, it's to be able to understand or determine what evidence-based medicine is and how we use it. The first thing you need to do is be able to have a question that you're trying to ask. And so you decide what it is that you want to know, and then you go do an extensive and thorough search for the information that's out there on that or towards that topic that you're looking at, trying to learn information about or trying to make a decision about. So when you do evidence-based medicine, it's important for you to perform that unbiased search. And when you do the unbiased search, you're looking at the best studies that are out there, the best resources out there. There are a lot of places to be able to get information, and one of the common one that a lot of people like to use is Google. Now, Google can be a valuable tool because I use Google myself, and what I use Google for is I use Google to be able to help get terms or snippets of information that I can then further dig into. But Google itself, when you're trying to do the best evidence-based medicine, is not always the best place to search. Now, Google does have Google Scholar, which does dig into the research and the available information there in a more focused and specific area, and that is beneficial. But having to do a more extensive and thorough search for evidence-based medicine is important. Now, after you gather the information or find the research that's out there, you now have to critically evaluate that information. So to critically evaluate that information, you have to look at the studies, you have to look at the research and see how, is it done well? Is it done poorly? Is it done, does it cover the right topic? Is it a topic that's close to what it is and it can be relatable? Is there enough subjects in the material? Is the evidence evaluated correctly or evaluated in a good way that will be able to get you good results and good information as to what the results are? And then you look at all that and then you evaluate what that information is, and then you use it to be able to help apply and make a clinical decision. And then once you make that clinical decision, then you look at the results of what that clinical decision were and you say, okay, did my application of that information give me the desired results? If it did, then great. If it didn't, then try to figure out why it didn't give you the results that you want and then relearn and then move forward. Or if you did get the results you want, is there something you can do better to be able to help more optimal and more efficient results going forward? So now that we kind of explained what the process of evidence-based medicine is and how to get it, there are some things that are important to know about evidence-based medicine. The first is experience is important. Experience can be a block if somebody doesn't do their due diligence and continue to learn throughout their professional lifetime, but experience can be really valuable in making clinical decisions. If somebody doesn't have as much experience, then they may have to rely a little bit more heavily on what the available research or the information is, but somebody who has a lot of experience can take that information, combine with their experience, and be able to make very good clinical decisions going forward. So experience is really valuable. The next thing is, there can be more than one way to get a good result. And evidence of a good result in one way does not mean it's another way is a bad way. There can be more than one way to get a good result, and understanding a more comprehensive or all the available information out there, and understanding that there can be more than one way to do that, to be able to get the results that you want, is valuable and important. Next, evidence can change. As time moves, as research moves, as experience moves, evidence can change. So it's important to continue to evaluate the information and figure out what the best current information is moving forward, so that it helps us make good clinical decisions. Evidence-based decisions are made by making the best choice from the best information that is critically evaluated with consideration to the professional's experience. And this is the goal of the Precision Performance Training Podcast, is to be able to take the information, to be able to evaluate it, and be able to give it to you in a sense that you're able to use and apply towards your exercise, training, or sports performance goals. Like, subscribe, follow for future information. Otherwise, I'll see you guys next time.